All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Sunday afternoon about 5:30 p.m. I hope everyone is doing well. I want to talk about a game that I don't think gets enough attention, and I got to play it a little bit last night, and I was thoroughly impressed all over again from a couple of years ago when I bought the game back when I lived in Texas, believe it or not, and I've been in Minnesota now for I think 4 years, 2019, 2019 is when I came to Minnesota. Anyway, the video game du jour is Genesys by Fantasy Flight Games. It's no longer produced and or distributed by Fantasy Flight. It's done by edgestudios.net. So it's edge dash studio studios.net on the web. That's the section that took over FFG's RPG. So they do Star Wars, Rokugan, all of the different Star Wars licenses, Midnight 5e. They do a bunch of different games, but they do produce this, and they just released a new book, Twilight Imperium, and we'll look at that in a second. But I wanted to just bring to light that what a cool game this is, and if you're not aware of it, go check it out. Pick up the PDF or buy the physical book. Amazon's got it on sale for I think 49.99 or 39.95. I'm not quite sure. Uh, Prices fluctuate and everything crazy with paper cost and everything. The price on the back of my book says 39.95, but you know, I bought this when it first came out back in Beaumont, Texas. So I'm not quite sure if that price holds solid or not. The cost of printing and everything has gone up. So who knows? But this is the generic system, Genesis. And it's really cool. This you can play anything. There's Into the Beanstalk, I think it is, which is like an Android Netrunner type thing from the old Netrunner card game. I don't own that, so I can't really speak to it, but I've heard good things about it. If you're into like cyberpunk and net running and things like that, the Matrix might be your cup of tea. If I see it somewhere on sale, I might pick it up, but I haven't seen it anywhere. These books are kind of getting hard to get a hold of, but you can still get them. Like I said, Edge Studios, you can buy the PDF and you can buy the physical books off of Amazon, Miniature Market, Game Nerds, all kinds of places have got it. Um, this is hardback, full color. It's got an MC Escher style of art. I've heard a lot of complaints about people don't like it. I actually like it. I'm trying to find a good, yeah, here's a good one. Um, it's kind of like half finished art on a grid with like the lines, vector lines and stuff. I really like the art. Like here's one for like coins and tokens, like a coin rolling and falling down. I think the art in here is really good. It's full color. It's got all kinds of art in it. Everything from fantasy to sci-fi. Here's a robot and a young lady shooting, and a guy shooting in a corridor. So it's got sci-fi. You can play whatever game you want in this system, which is nice. So they have generic rules for pretty much everything. I showed it to my friend Bodie last night. He came over and we did a couple mock combats and a little role playing just to test out the mechanics. And he fell in love with it. He thought it was really awesome. So I'm hoping my buddy Bryce can make it over in 2 weeks and we'll have our first session. We're going to play Realms of Terrinoth. I have an intro adventure and we'll go over that in a second. But this is the core rulebook, hardback, full color, character sheet in the back that you can photocopy. We are looking at a whopping 258 pages, or no, 253 pages. Um, Hardback, stitch sewn binding. It's not going to fall. I've had this since it came out. It hasn't fallen apart. It's been recently getting a lot of love though by me taking it off the shelf and flipping through it and reading it and really enjoying it. You can see the back. And I did a review of this when I first got it, so go back in the archives and check that out. But really cool. I think really worth. If you're looking for a generic system, you don't want to be bogged down by combat. You want to tell a story. Your players want to role play and get in depth, into their characters and things like that. I think this is an amazing system for that. So that's the core rule book that you can get. There is also a GM screen. It's a very generic GM screen. It's got a little bit of art that goes across the board here, so you can see very kind of generic, little sci-fi, little fantasy, and all the pertinent tables are on the inside. So I think it's really well done. It's landscaped, really good. The next thing is they came out with the extended player's guide. This expounds upon the talent system in here, the magic system, and creating other races, creating monsters. And It's got some settings: the Age of Myth, Monster World, Post Apocalypse. And then it goes into like skills and talents, creating a setting, expanded rules creation for characters, vehicle creation, adversary creation, expanded alternate rules. So a whole bunch of extra rules that they came across. Excellent resource, really good. This is retailing for $29.95. Again, the price may have gone up due to printing costs and stuff because this came out pretty much shortly after the game actually came out. I don't know if they show a printing date on here when it was printed in China. We know that much. 2019. So this came out shortly after the core book came out. So those are the three core things you need if you're going to run the game, and you don't even need the expanded player's guide uh, because that's for players. And if you're a GM, all you need is a GM screen. And for each setting or each theme, so like Realms of Terrinoth, um, excuse me, Realms of Terrinoth, you got your own GM, you got a separate GM screen that somebody did, and we'll talk about that in a second. I got some coffee, got to have my coffee. So speaking of Realms of Terrinoth and stuff, we'll go over the little GM screen in a minute. Um, get my stuff together here. So this is the hardback of Realms of Terrinoth, and again, full color, stitch sewn hardback. Same layout as the generic Genesys core rulebook, using the rune bound system. So there was a miniatures game released a while ago, and I don't think it did very well, but I thought it was pretty cool, called rune bound. So if you have access to those miniatures and you want to play in this sandbox, boy, those are two great tastes that taste great together. Again, we're looking at, I would say, right around the same amount of page count. Yeah, 261 pages with a complete index, done very well. We used it extensively last night to look up rules and stuff as we were play testing, kind of getting a feel for the mechanics. And I got to say, it flowed really well. Bodie, who's never played a Fantasy Flight proprietary dice system, um, picked it up in literally a matter of minutes. So little confusion with the symbols on the dice, but I'll show you on the GM screen. It's got the dice and what all the symbols mean and everything. So that's really handy. There's a player's guide or a player's handout that you can get off the web if you just do a search for Genesys RPG or Terrinoth, and you'll find that handout. I'll try to link it in the doobly doo, but I can't promise because it's a Discord, and I think that's where I found it. I found it on the Discord, and I'll put a link to the Discord channel in the show notes there, because I think, or an invite to that Discord, because I think it's really awesome. Really great resource if you're a GM and or a player. But this is the Realms of Terrinoth. So this is basically their first proprietary setting for the Genesys mechanics, using and of course, one second. This is of course, this in the Genesys core rulebook is all you need to play this game. It's got everything you need in it. You obviously need a set of dice, and these are um, the Genesys role-playing dice. Now, if you have Edge of the Empire or Force and Destiny, or I think it's Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and you've got those Star Wars dice, the colors are slightly shifted and the symbols are a little different. But I'm telling you, I used them last night for my game and I had no problem. Everything worked just fine. So don't feel obligated to go out and buy another set of proprietary dice. know that your Star Wars dice will work. And if you don't have these dice, and they are kind of hard to come by, from what I'm hearing, I have two sets of the Genesis generic dice, and then I have, I would say, four sets, maybe five, of the Star Wars dice, because I ran an Edge of the Empire campaign and I wanted all my players to use the dice. Now, that being said, as of recording of this video today, May 13th, 2023, the iOS and or Android app for the dice is free. So you can download that app onto your phone or your tablet, your smart device, and you can use that if you don't want to go buy the physical dice, or if they're hard to come by and you can't find them, or if people are asking stupid prices. I did see somebody on the Facebook page posted that somebody created 3D rendered dice. They printed the dice. Now, I don't know how well those will roll and if there's air bubbles in them and stuff like that. But push comes to shove, obviously the STL files are out there, and you can print off a set of Star Wars or Genesis dice. The other cool thing that they make, that, and again, by no means is it required to play, but it is a handy thing for the GM, is the Foes of Terrinoth and the Dizians of Terrinoth. And these are just cards, like regular playing cards. I think at the time when I bought them, they were $12.95 a pack. They may be a little bit more. I don't remember. I bought these right when they came out again from the game store in Beaumont, which I don't remember the name of it. It's been so many years since I've been there. But anyway, these are, I think, are still available on the Edge Studios site. I think you can still buy these. You might find them on Amazon. Foes of Terrinoth for the Genesis Realms of Terrinoth RPG, and Dizians of Terrinoth. Terrinoth is the world. Well, Monera is the world. Terrinoth is the setting, and it's in the rune-bound game world, so to speak. So if you've played Descent, the miniatures game from Fantasy Flight, I think they're up to the fourth edition now. And you have any of those miniatures, which I do have, I could use those in this game. But anyway, so it's very cool. Core book, all your setting information, all the magic. There's a bunch of spells in here. The cool thing about the Genesis system in Realms of Terrinoth is this is a high magic world. So Genesis goes very in depth into making spells, and there's a little chart, or AKA a formula, that you can go through, that you can walk through the steps. You can pretty much make a spell on the fly. If you don't find a written version of the spell you want, there's a system in here that it's just a bunch of charts and a step-by-step process. You can make that spell by hand in a matter of minutes. So as the other players are taking their turn, you can sit there and start jotting down, and figure out how you want this spell to work, and probably knock it out before it comes to your turn, which is very cool. So again, referencing back to that Discord channel, I highly recommend it. And I'm going to try to put a link in the doobly-doo. There's someone posted, and I don't remember his name, but he's very active on the Discord there for Realms of Terrinoth, and I think all of the different settings. But he made a GM screen, and I laminated it because, well, I'm crazy like that. And I have a personalized GM screen, so I got little magnets. I can just boop, and I have these. But you can see it tells you what all the dice do, and it tells you the different all what the dice are. And again, these are extremely similar to the Star Wars dice, also put out by Fantasy Flight, the role-playing game. So if you have those dice, no need to go buy new dice. You've got what you need. The symbols are slightly different, but trust me, it's bread and butter. It goes together like peanut butter and jam. You'll have no problem. So highly recommend the Realms of Terrinoth GM screen. Very, very handily dandily. One of the other things that is pretty cool is, before Modifius did their Worlds of Wonder, or whatever they're calling it, Worlds of Modifius, or Modifius Calling, or whatever. Modifius has this thing out where you can write adventures and get paid. Fantasy Flight did it way before them. So there's a drive-through RPG store where you can go buy published Genesis adventures. And so I went on to the Discord when I first found out that there even was a Genesis Discord. I went on there and I asked, hey, does anybody have a good intro scenario besides the one in the book, because the one in the book is meh. And I retract that. I don't think there is a starting adventure in the book. I can't remember. Either way, I wanted something a little bit different, and in case my players had read that, this would be something new to them, and kind of, not spoil the surprise. So I found The Headless Rider of Nerrick Tower. And this was a PDF. It's for the Genesys Foundry, not to be confused with Foundry VTT. That's what they call their marketplace on drive-through, where you can self-publish. And it's done really well. I mean, it's laid out really well. I printed it in black and white to save toner. It's a whopping, I don't even know if there's a page count on this. I want to say it's like 20 pages, 20, 23, 40 pages, because it's pretty thick. There's no page count on it, unfortunately, but it's done really well. There's a list of NPCs and rivals and nemesis and minions, that all the things that the players, the antagonists that the players will need to deal with. You can see I've been making notes and stuff for when I run the adventure. But this was $5. I think it was 4.95 or 4.85 on the Foundry, on the drive-through RPG Genesys Foundry. And like I said, the gentleman that wrote it was kind enough to send me a link. I clicked on it, I bought it. It's $5. And I'm supporting a young indie publisher. So I don't remember his name. Let's see if his name is in here. I might have to put my cheaters on. Um, uh, Giri Raman, it looks like. Uh, and a bunch of stock art was used. A bunch of people did the art. This was done in 2019, it looks like. Um, so super cool. Yeah, and he has email at gary.raman@gmail.com. He's on Discord, and his Discord information is on there. So pick this up, give it a try. It's a really good adventure. I've been enjoying reading it. And it's the Headless Rider. It's exactly what you think. It was kind of done as a Halloween theme, but I thought it's perfect. It's that high magic, stuff for Terrinoth that I like. So obviously we've got adventures, we got everything we need to play. We've got access to miniatures because you can pick up used copies of Descent board game pretty much eBay, wherever. Board Game Geeks, your local. If you have a Bookman's, if you live in Phoenix or any surrounding area, they have Bookman's. Have price books. Sometimes we'll have copies of the board game for dirt cheap. So no excuse for miniatures, but they just recently came out with a new genre, Twilight Imperium, Embers of the Imperium. So this is basically their awesome Fantasy Flight has a board game called Twilight Imperium, and it's on their fourth iteration, I think, and it's probably one of the most in-depth board games that you can play. The running joke was, play Twilight Imperium's waste your life, because it would take a whole weekend and sometimes more to play it, especially if you had a full like 5, 6 players. I can't remember them. I think it was 6 players was the max. It's been years since I've played it. They're on a fourth edition. I heard they've streamlined a lot of it, but it still takes a long time to play. But I was always infatuated with, Imperius Rex and all the different settings and the races and everything. So you got all these aliens. So this is kind of a hard sci-fi setting with aliens, uh, and it's political, it's intrigue, it's espionage, it's obviously sci-fi, spaceship, space combat, all that good stuff is in here. They make and again, it's done in the same format, so it's laid out really well. Full color art. This one is going for, and it says Edge Studio on here. No price on this one. So I want to say it was going for right at $50. But it's got a 286 pages, roughly 87 pages, including the index. Full color, very well done. You got all your cool sci-fi art. I mean, it's just the Mintak Coalition, the Nomads, all your different Sardak Noor, Titans of Ul, which I always thought was cool. They're kind of like sentient robots. So just super cool stuff. And of course, every faction gets abilities. There's armor. I mean, just you got mecha combat. You got everything you need in here. So super awesome, super cool. If you like Twilight Imperium, if you've played the board game and you want to, you like, man, it would be cool to play in that playground, that sandbox. Now you can with the Genesis system. So Genesis is still going strong. This just released last week. I picked it up earlier in the week. So there's no there's no reason this game is still viable. Uh, Again, the dice can be hard to get a hold of from what I'm being told, but there's a free dice app. So I know we all like chucking dice. There's even a conversion in the book that says, a D12 are these the pips on a D12 equal this result on the Genesis dice. So there's options. You can work around it. You can play the game. Um, by the way, just to go back to the headless horseman thing, he included a full set of adversary cards. And for those that don't know, Genesis is kind of an abstract system in certain ways. So you don't have you have power levels, but they're called rival, minion, and nemesis. So a nemesis is your main bad guy, going to be slightly more powerful than the players, uh, but if teamwork and everything, you bring it on. A rival is relatively equal to a player character, and then a minion is a mook. Basically, you mow them down in groves. We did a mock battle last night with a reanimate, which is like basically a warrior zombie skeleton, and he took it out in one hit. So it never even got a chance to fight him. And then we did I can't remember what it was, Ferox, which is a rival, and it really came down. I think we went 4 or 5 combat rounds, and it literally was he had 1 hit point left. I had four, or wounds. They use wounds instead of hit points. It was going back and forth, and the narrative dice were coming into play, setback and boost dice. It's a really fun system. If you haven't given this game a try, I really recommend you do, especially if you're a storyteller, if you're a GM that likes to tell a story and you want to focus on the story and not so much the mechanics. The mechanics are very abstract, but in depth enough that you're not scratching your head going, well, that doesn't make sense or that doesn't work. I think the mechanics work really well. And when you have stuff like this is along the lines of those Foes of Terrinoth card that I printed off, but these are a lot of stuff that's inside the adventure that I didn't have cards for. So printed these and cut them up and then laminate them. Fantastic. And the gentleman that made the adventure was nice enough to include these in the download of the PDF of the rules for the adventure. So, and there's a map, there's a tower. So really well done, high class. Very, very happy with it. Um, I can't say enough good things about it, guys. It's a good game. You should check it out. Have you played it? Do you like it? What don't you like about it? Put down in the notes. One of the things YouTube is hounding me is that there's not enough comments and stuff going on my videos. So it basically says people aren't watching them long enough to leave a comment. So please grease the algorithm, help the almighty YouTube gods recognize poor little Mr. Mean, and get my videos in front of more people. So just leave a comment, uh, that would be most awesome. And I try to answer every comment. Also, there will be links to my Discord, links to my Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to games I run, gets you into drawings. This month I've got Bell Whispers going out to some lucky Patreon. So it's $5 a month. This alone I think is $20. I don't even remember. I didn't pay for this. He was nice enough to send it to me over from Tower House Creatives, and they also make, if you haven't seen it, they make this awesome what if dice, or yes and no. It's a really cool die. If you're a solo role player, or even if you're a GM and you don't want to make your players think you're being mean, you roll this to make a decision. It's really cool. But there's a lot of random charts geared more towards fantasy, but usable in a lot of different settings. So that's going to go out to one lucky Patreon member. That could be you for $5 a month. Um, so, like I said, really enjoying it. Let's grease the wheels of YouTube's algorithm to, sorry, my son is in the background playing. Let's grease the wheels of the YouTube algorithm. Hit that like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's grow the mini army. I don't even know how many subscribers we're up to. I think we're up to like a little bit over 1,200. So that's awesome. Big shout out to Ron Frazier. He also has a YouTube channel where he talks about tabletop RPGs, a talking head, kind of like me. He's on my Discord. So if you want to drop in and say hi to Ron, he's on my Discord quite a bit. So there's a link, an invite in the doobly doo. Hey, Ron, thanks for a shout out on your video of Everyday Heroes. So hopefully I can get Ron on the channel and we can play some Genesis because that would be super cool. So anyway, let's see what else is going on. I want to fill up some time here. The Alchemy Kickstarter for the Alchemy VTT is going on right now. Mr. Mean is very interested in it. I'm a huge Foundry fan. I'm a diehard Foundry fan, but there are things about Foundry that annoy the shit out of me. And there are times when I just want to fire up a game and play, and I don't want to have to worry about maps and tokens and what application, what plugin isn't working. And this is where Alchemy is going to come in. It's going to provide scenes, kind of like what Foundry does, but it'll be, moving backgrounds and stuff. It's not going to be the super tactical grid and all that stuff. It's going to be more role playing. So games like Genesis are going to run great on that. Kids on Bikes and Mutant Year Zero, Simba Room. They've got a Vampire, D&D, Pathfinder, second edition. They've got, the list goes on. Fallout 2D20 from Modiphius is being supported. There's a ton of games. You can back it for like $25. It is going to be a subscription model, which will allow you can host games for free, but there will be a subscription model that will give you slightly better access depending on the subscription level that you're at. I did back it for like $50, which gets me, I think, 6 months of a subscription. So I'll see how I like it. Um, if any of the guys from Alchemy are watching this, please, please, please change that lifetime membership price. It is way too high. $500 for something that is not tried and true yet or been proven is not worth it. It's not going to get you what you want. I think if you drop that down to $200 and then as an introductory Kickstarter reward, and then maybe after the Kickstarter kick it up to like 350, I think that's going to be great. And I would definitely jump on it if you did that. But I'm not sinking $500 into something that's untrue. And right now, you can go on Alchemy, you can create a free account. The only games you can really play are 5th edition. And I have no desire to run 5th edition in any way, shape, or form. So for me, it's an unknown. I like what I'm seeing so far. I'm following the developers blog. They're posting to YouTube. They seem very committed. They seem very earnest about what they're doing in their communication, which I do like. I just think their prices are a little touch high for something, you pay $50 for Foundry and you're done. Now, sometimes you do have to buy rule sets, but Alchemy is going to charge for rule sets to a certain degree. So we'll see what the final pricing model is going to be. But go give it a check. If you do wind up backing it, tell them Mr. Mean sent you. I would love to get some support, maybe get a couple licenses or something to give out as rewards and stuff like that. I'm going to run some games on it when the time comes. Hopefully everything will be great. I really would like to see what they do with Fallout because I really liked the Fallout RPG by Modiphius and I want to get it back to the table. I'd like to see if Genesis has support because I'm really, really, really got the itch for Genesis last night after playing it for a little bit with my friend. So, yeah, guys, go give Alchemy a check. Check them out. Hit us up on the Discord. Again, please, please, please put comments down in the notes down below. Have you heard of Alchemy? Have you heard of Genesis? Have you heard of Realms of Terrinoth or Android or Twilight Imperium? Embers of the Imperium. If you've heard of that stuff, let's start a dialogue. Hop over to the Discord. Let's talk about it because we have a very active Discord community. We have a lot of publishers on our Discord. So if you want to get into the industry and you want advice, it's a great place to ask. If you need Photoshop advice, if you need InDesign advice and layout design and stuff like that, we've created a channel called Help Pub. Where you can go in there and post a question and people will, people that are in the industry will hopefully answer and point you in the right direction, if not give you the exact answer that you're looking for. So Discord community, like I said, jumping, very cool community. We do role-playing games, video games, art, miniatures. You can see my paint set behind me. I paint a lot of miniatures. So yeah, we do it. We do it all, man. We're a full service hobby shop. Anything you want to talk about on the channel, let me know. Put it down in the doobly doo. If there's an RPG that you want reviewed, put a link in there, and I'll go check it out and see if I can pick it up. I do have a Discord affiliate or Discord drive-through RPG affiliate program. So use that link. It helps generate a little money to the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. The link is in the doobly doo down there in the show notes. I have a Parabellum affiliate link as well if you're into Conquest, the Last Argument of Kings, or Conquest. I think it's First Blood is the skirmish game. I love Conquest. I'm painting the Minotaurs right now. I'm working on those. So Conquest, amazing game. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Uh, we got big things coming for the channel. I'm going to start trying to start streaming some painting of the miniatures. Hopefully that's going to come here soon as the weather warms up a little bit. I got a new Vex airbrush from the guys that make, I can't think of their name now, down in Texas. They make miniatures. Drawn a total mind blank. Anyway, they make the Warlord miniatures game, which is kind of dead, but it's very cool miniatures game. Can't think of their name. Anyway, all the notes will be in the doobly doo, guys. Check it out. Let me know what you thought of the video. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. As always, peace and hair grease. I got nothing else for you guys. I hope everybody's doing well this weekend. We're finally getting some sunny weather here in Duluth, Minnesota. So hopefully we'll get outside and do some fun stuff here in the next couple of weeks. As always, peace and hair grease. Remember, Mr. Mean loves you. Be nice.